Greetings, everyone. This is Live Life Well TV host Robert Landau, and this is another episode of True or False. Stay tuned. All right. So if you haven't seen this trivia show before on our channel, this is all you got to do. It's very simple. Sit back, relax, and see if you can guess if the following trivia happens to be true or false. It's that easy. But there's one thing we left out in what we'd like you to do with this. Have fun. Have fun. And maybe, on top of that, learn a few things that might be new. So, with that in mind, true or false, a hippologist studies horses. True or false, a hippologist studies horses. What do you think? Well, if you guessed true, you guessed right. Or maybe you knew that to begin with. But the term hippology, and that's Hippology, actually comes from the Greek hippo, meaning horse, and ology, meaning the study of. Next up, true or false, the Titanic set sail on April 18th, 1812. True or false, the Titanic set sail on April 18th, 1812. You probably had a feeling that that might not be true, and in case you did, you are 100% correct. That is false, and here is why. The great ill-fated RMS Titanic departed Southampton, England on its maiden and unfortunately final voyage across the Atlantic on April 10th, 1912. If you want to know, the ship was actually designed by the Irish shipbuilder William Pyrie and was built in Belfast, Ireland. Next up is this, true or false, France is not a permanent member of the UN. True or false, France is not a permanent member of the UN. That happens to be false. France holds a permanent seat at the Security Council alongside the US, the UK, Russia, and China since the UN's founding back in 1945. Next, true or false, the redwood is the tallest tree in the world. True or false, the redwood is the tallest tree in the world. That happens to be, what do you think? What do you think? True or false? That happens to be true. And here is why. It is one of the 3 sequoia tree species. And as you probably already know and might have seen, the redwood trees can be found along the Pacific coast, mostly in the great state of California. Next up is this for you. A funambulist is a tightrope walker. True or false, a funambulist is a tightrope walker, and this is how you spell funambulist, just in case you want to know. F-U-N-A-M-B-U-L-I-S-T. So the question of the moment is this. A funambulist is a tightrope walker. True or false? It happens to be true. Next, true or false? A dromedary is a type of camel. True or false? A dromedary is a type of camel. You probably know the answer to this, and you probably know it to be true. Why? Because it is. That's why. Dromedaries are of 3 species of camel. They live in large numbers in Africa and the Middle East. Dromedaries have one hump on their backs. True or false? Bora Bora is located in the Indian Ocean. True or false? Bora Bora is located in the Indian Ocean. Maybe you know that that is a major falsehood. Bora Bora, and I've been there many times. Many of you know that I was a cruise director for many years, and French Polynesia happened to have been one of my favorite places to cruise, and did that for many years with a couple of different cruise lines and cruise ships. Bora Bora is a small, stunning island northwest of Tahiti in French Polynesia, and is located in the South Pacific, not and nowhere near the Indian Ocean. So there you go. True or false? Vincent van Gogh cut off his right ear. True or false? Vincent van Gogh cut off his right ear. That happens to be false, and here's why. Vincent van Gogh did cut off one of his ears, but it was his left ear when tempers flared when he got into a rip-roaring argument with Paul Gauguin, who he had been working with at the time. Don't think I would have wanted to have been there for that, would you? No. Next up is this, true or false? Monaco has the highest population density in the world. True or false? Monaco has the highest population density in the world. That actually, believe it or not, and this really surprised me too, is true. But I guess it's because that country, or is it a municipality? Whatever it is, it's actually very, very small. I think it might be its own country. So Monaco has a population density of 68,212 people per square mile. A close second happens to be Macau, which is a Chinese territory. Lots of people squeezed into the tiny area known as Monaco. Beautiful, beautiful place though. Went there with the ships as well. True or false? Queen Elizabeth II is the longest surviving ruling monarch. True or false? Queen Elizabeth II is the longest surviving ruling monarch, and that happens to be true. She became queen in the 1950s, and as of this recording, the great queen happens to be 94 years of age. True or false? An emu is the largest bird in the world. What do you think about that? True or false? An emu is the largest bird in the world? Actually, that's false, because we cannot forget about the ostrich, because the ostrich is the largest bird in the world. It weighs, it's heavy. Let's just say that. Can't remember the last time I weighed an ostrich, but it's the largest and probably the heaviest bird in the world. Next up is this, true or false? The Canary Islands can be found in the Indian Ocean. True or false? The Canary Islands can be found in the Indian Ocean? What say you about that? True, or might it just be false? Well, it is false, and here's why. The Canary Islands, or Canaries as they used to be called, can be found in the Atlantic Ocean and not in the Indian Ocean, because the last time I checked, that's where they were. And I'll stand by that. Next up is this, true or false? The platypus is venomous. True or false, the platypus is venomous. That is true. And here is the explanation as to why that is true. The platypus is one of the few living mammals that can produce its own venom. Males of the species have a pair of spurs on their hind legs or limbs that secrete venom that is only active in breeding season. Bet you didn't know that. Ah. Next up, we have this. True or false? No less than 293 billion emails were sent per day back in 2019. What do you think about that? True or false? No less than 293 billion emails were sent per day during 2019. You know what? That's so outrageous. It has to be true. And you know why? Because it is. Here's why. 293 billion emails were sent per day back in 2019. Breaking that down, get this. That is an astounding 12.2 billion emails per hour. Let me say that again. 12.2 billion emails per hour. Let's break that down even more to where that is 203 million emails per minute. And if we broke that down even further, we would have this that also happens to be just under 3.4 emails per second. Wow, that was 2019. I can imagine it's much higher now. We've got two more before we close this episode of True or False. Here's the second to last one for your true or false consideration. And it goes like this. True or false, the Dolomite Mountains are in Italy. True or false, the Dolomite Mountains are in Italy. That, as you might have surmised, is true because the Dolomites lie in the eastern section of the northern Italian Alps and feature extremely impressive peaks. Why? Because 18 actually rise to more than 10,000 feet. 18 of the Dolomite mountain range peaks rise to more than 10,000 feet. Wow. And here's the last true or false question we have for you on this episode. True or false? Charlie Chaplin had his feet insured. True or false? Charlie Chaplin had his feet insured. It's another one of those so unbelievable. It's true because it is true. Back in 1915, Charlie Chaplin did insure his feet for no less than $150,000 back in 1915. Today, that would be more than about $3 million. Wow. Some valuable pair of feet, I would say. And with that, I hope you found this episode of True or False to be at least somewhat valuable. Maybe you learned a couple of things, and really, overall, my wish is that you had some modicum of fun doing so. With that said, this has been Robert Landau, Live Life Well TV host. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode of True or False. God bless.